Welcome to this medical biology class. This lesson is about the respiratory system. We are going to talk about gas exchange, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The airways start at the nose and pharynx, then the inhaled air passes through the larynx via the vocal cords. The air then enters the trachea and along the tracheal branches into the alveoli. All these organs have different functions, but work together to achieve the exchange of gases. Gas exchange takes place in the alveoli. Oxygen can be absorbed into the blood from the alveoli, and at the same time, carbon dioxide and fluid are returned to the lungs. We move the air by breathing in and out, and by moving the air along the vocal cords, it is also possible to make sound. We can talk, laugh, sing by breathing. The nose has several functions. It is also recommended to breathe through the nose, as an important function is filtering air. We breathe in microorganisms and other dust particles, and the hairs in the nose filter them to a large extent. There are many blood vessels in the nose, and this gives off heat. This warms the air in the nose a little. In addition to filtering and heating the air is also humidified and comes through the tear gland above the eye. The eye is kept moist with tears to prevent it from drying out, and the moisture then ends up in the nose, and this makes the air humid. This is also the reason that if you have to cry, you get snot bubbles. The nose is also a sensory organ. We can smell with our nose. But that's a completely different chapter. When we breathe through the nose, the air enters the oral pharynx. It then enters the larynx, where there is a valve. This ensures that only air can enter the trachea. The lid closes when you eat or drink. This is also why you should listen to your mother, because she told you not to talk during dinner. Because the moment you start talking, the laryngeal valve opens and fluid or food can enter your trachea. The air then enters the trachea, and the air is also filtered here. If you do get some dust in the trachea, this will induce a coughing stimulus. So we need the trachea to move air. It must remain open and not narrow. That is why there are cartilage rings around the trachea, for strength and to ensure that it remains open. And if you feel your throat at the front of the trachea, you can also feel those cartilage rings. The trachea divides into left and right sides and then into small tracheal branches. There you will find alveoli, millions of alveoli, and the blood vessels run around them. This is where gas exchange takes place. It is important that these alveoli remain healthy and that they are easily accessible to gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide. Don't destroy them with vaping and smoking. Be careful with your alveoli. What exactly ensures that we can breathe? Because the lungs are empty sacs, balloons. How does the body ensure that air comes in and out? We need muscles for that, several types of muscles. But the most important is the diaphragm. This muscle is responsible for inhalation. It pulls the lungs down so they can fill with air. The diaphragm causes a kind of vacuum effect. The lungs expand and suck in air. And the moment the muscle relaxes again, the lungs become smaller again. This is the exhalation. We breathe about 14 to 18 times per minute at rest, and when you exercise, you breathe faster. We also have muscles between the ribs, which ensure that the rib cage becomes slightly larger. It supports breathing. But the most important is the diaphragm. And in case of shortage of air, in case of shortness of breath, the neck muscles are also used. These ensure that the lungs become larger at the top. When you walk up the stairs, you will also notice that your shoulders rise a little more to allow the lungs to expand. Thank you again for your attention. Nice that you took this lesson. We talked about the anatomy and physiology of the lungs. We will come back to this often, especially in pathology when we talk about lung diseases such as asthma, COPD, pneumonia. Thanks again, and see you soon.